Well, the other day I took the starter off of this, and because it wouldn't operate, although I could hear the solenoid clicking. And when I took and put 6 volts directly onto that lead there, right there, it didn't do anything. So I took it apart, took it in the house on the dining room table and took it apart, and I found that one of the 2 brushes was stuck in the out position. In other words, it wasn't contacting the commutator. So I fixed that, made it so it moves freely in there, and put everything back together, and we just got it installed right now. And when I took this apart, in order to get enough slack in the chain here, I took this cover off, and I was looking at this, and I didn't know where this wire went. There was this green wire inside after I took the this cover off, and it must have been out here someplace. I'm assuming it's the ignition comes off of the points, and that's where I'll put it back. But what I found was that where it comes through the hole here, the insulation was worn off of that wire. So I recovered it with green heat shrink and put a new connector on it, and it should be okay now. I'm not going to test that right now. I'm going to go over and just make a real brief test on the starter. Make sure it turns the bike over when I hit the switch. So let's try that. All right. I don't know if this battery's got enough power to turn that over or not. That's a joke. I'm sure it does. And there we go. And now, if we turn the key 1 notch, how do we do it? Right there. Turns the headlight on, as you can see. And we still don't, the starter still doesn't work. Now, I had it working offline, so I'm thinking there might be also a problem with the connection to the solenoid. So I will address that tomorrow, because it's getting cold out here now, and I'm going in. It could be that I just don't have enough ground. Well, ain't that a kick in the head? There it goes. I didn't have a good enough ground, that's all. So, starter works like it's supposed to, and I'm going in. I'm done for the day. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 3rd time I shot this introduction. First time I did it with my Canon camera, and that died right in the middle. And the second time I did it with my GoPro, which is the one I'm on right now, and I forgot to push the record button. But I just had my 80th birthday, so you got to forgive me here. Anyway, I got the coil in for this Honda CA95 CA160. It's got a CA160 frame and a CA95 engine. and they're a little different, but not a whole lot. Anyway, the coil had very weak spark. I tried whatever I could to make it work, and it would give me some spark, but just very ugly spark, I guess is what you'd say. It was kind of reddish and blue, and it didn't look right at all. It was too weak. So we put the new coil in. I had to drill a new hole because the mounting bracket on the new coil is not the same as the one on the old coil, but it fits in the same place. It's got the same number of wires, and we're going to see if it'll make the spark plugs spark. Now, on this guy, they call it wasted spark. In other words, every time the piston comes to the top, it sparks. Now, both of them spark at the same time, but one of them's on the exhaust stroke and one of them is on the compression stroke. So it's a little different. It's only got one carburetor, 2 cylinders, and I'm going to turn the lights out now, and we'll point the camera in the direction of the spark plugs, and we'll see if they spark. All right, now we've got a battery hooked up. Let me check it just to make sure it's still hooked up. It is. Over here, it's actually a big old 6-volt car battery. We're going to turn this key on. There it is. And if you look right down here, you'll see this wire. This wire is the one that goes to the points in the condenser. And what we're going to do is we're just going to touch that to ground. And when we do that, we'll charge the thing up, and then hopefully the coil will discharge across this spark plug and this spark plug. So, wish me well. Why did it do that? Sparked once. I think there's a ground problem here. There we go. I don't know about this one. Let's see if it's sparking too. They're both sparking. Nice, white, bright sparks. All right. But you notice when I touched here, I think there's a paint on this right here. But I touched the condenser, and we're good. So the next thing we do is put everything back together, but these wires right here, let me turn the light back on. All right, this one is green, is supposed to be green, and this one is supposed to be black. Well, this one's okay. The only problem is the types of connectors are backwards. In other words, this black one from the coil, from the new coil, is a female. And this yellow one from the new coil, which replaces the green one from the old coil. Are you confused now? Anyway, I'm going to put some green heat shrink on this and shrink it down, but I'm going to swap these two connectors, put different gender connectors on those and hook them up, and so people will know when they get in here later, because I'm going to sell this bike when I'm done with it. So they won't have to guess which one's which. So I'll be back. Well, folks, it's sort of a good morning. I've been sick the last couple of days, but yesterday in the mail I got something. You may not recognize this. it's a battery. And it's a Honda battery, believe it or not. It's the battery that goes, or I hope it goes, in the CA160/95 I've got that I'm working on. Now the other day I put a new coil in it, and I did get spark when I shorted the coil lead and put power to one side of the primary and shorted the other one out. And it does work, and both plugs get spark on them now. But I also ordered, well, where is it? A new condenser. So we've got the condenser for it. And we'll get this battery. I'm going to have to get some juice in it. It doesn't have any juice in it. And no juice comes with it. As far as I can tell, it is vacuum sealed. It is a new old stock battery that's never been charged, I would guess. I've never seen one come in a sealed package like this, but let's see what it looks like. Let me get this camera in a different position, I think. I don't know where. Maybe right there? No, that'll never work. Here. We got this box that should make a good stand for it. There we go. Alright, so we started cutting this stuff off. And we'll cut the rest of it off, I hope. I might need to just sharpen my knife. I don't know. There we are. It's kind of like peel on something. Looks like the right thing. I believe it is. I do have some battery acid out there. I bought a big container of it, so many years ago, and I haven't used it all. So there we have it. The really nice part about this is these are rubber pads, rubber bottom, rubber pads on all sides. I don't know what that there is. I don't know why this is in here. Oh, that's the vent hose, and it just, I assume. I may have to get a different hose for that. It's been in there a long time. It's all flattened out. The rubber band's still stretchy. Imagine that. That's because it was vacuum sealed, I think. But anyway, we'll stretch this out. Now this has a piece of cardboard on the side, but that was, I think, for the hose. That'll come off. And it's made by Yuasa. And I can't guarantee that I pronounced that correctly. But anyway, there's the new battery. And we'll get some juice in it. Throw it on 6-volt charger, and hopefully it'll be great. I love this. It's got the rubber on it on both sides, and it was about a third of expensive as the alternative. I think I paid $59 for this, which is not all that bad for a new old stock battery like this. And you know, they'll keep forever as long as they don't have acid in them. So anyway, the reason I'm not going out now, as you can see, we got a little bit of snow and it's cold and I'm sick, and I decided to just go ahead and upload what I've got for video, and just to get it out there. It's going to be a pretty short one. So everybody have a happy new year, and we'll see you. Any warm days that we have, I'll get back out there and see if we can get this thing started.